I've wanted to sail around the world since I was 13.
At the time, 13 years old, I actually used her to solo on a yacht up and down the coast. And things weren't going very well. It was cold, it was wet, and I thought this would sort her out. This would quench that thirst for adventure and everything. And when she moored her boat up, I was at the dock side. I said, "So Abigail, are you ready to sail around the world now?" Bearing in mind, she'd been out there for 20 hours and soaking wet through freezing cold and in a bit of a snotty condition. And she turned around and looked at me straight in the eye and said, "Where's my boat?" I thought, ooh, this is serious.
Of course, at 13, your parents aren't really all that willing to buy you a $90,000 boat and send you around the world. So I just kind of kept bugging them, kept sailing, kept working towards it.
We were like, oh, well, that's interesting, you know. You're 13, you know, just keep dreaming.
Put up with them trying to scare me out of it and all that. And so here I am now. First boat I moved onto, I was 2 months old, so it kind of just happens. I mean, you live on boats, you know how to sail. In most families, sailing around the world at 16 is kind of, they just never would think of something like that. But it's kind of a fit for our family. It's what we've always done. Watching my brother sail around the world, it kind of encouraged me. I think it encouraged a lot of people just to go out there and do it. We picked up the boat in Newport, sailed it down to Fort Lauderdale, loaded it onto a ship, going to take it up to Marina del Rey.
When I was out there, I mean, one of the main problems was collision course with other boats. I had all these radar alarms set up, but you know, they would fail occasionally, and if you hit another ship out there, you sink. And you know, the loneliness out there is hard. It gets easier as you go along, but Abby's going to be going out without any stops, just straight away. So I mean, she's going to be really mentally prepared for that.
I'm probably going to miss my friends and family the most. I mean, a lot of people say it's not entirely solo because I've got a phone I can talk on, but I mean, it's the same thing as if you went in your room and closed the door for 6 months. You can talk to people, but you're still lonely. You can never see them or anything. It'll be hard being away from everybody and for people for so long.
There's different things that cause depression where, like, you hit a milestone, say, and then you've got, say, maybe 4,000 miles to your next milestone. Once you hit a milestone, it's very common to have a big letdown afterwards and feel kind of like, man, you know, I finally got to Cape Horn, now I've got to go 4,000 miles to the Cape of Good Hope, you know. And so we have plans for putting treats and notes in her food bags and like new music and pictures and little gifts so that it'll boost her spirits some.
I'm in 11th grade, I'm a junior, so I really don't want to fall a year behind doing this, so I'll bring my school books with me and do as much as I can. I really don't want to be stuck in high school for another year. It's bad enough for 4 years. I was kind of hoping to get my permit before I leave, because I'll be back in 6 months and I'll be able to go get my license. But we'll just have to see how all of the stuff goes. I've been a little too busy to worry about that right now. I'd rather sail around the world than get my driver's license. So I'm starting up here at Marina del Rey, and I'll come straight down here, around Cape Horn, just kind of through the Southern Ocean, around the bottom of the world. And then when I get here, I'll decide whether I go through the Tasmanian Sea or down around the bottom of New Zealand. Because down here, there's been icebergs floating right up to New Zealand, but right here, the wind is right on the nose if I come up through here. So I'll either go through there, around there, and back up to Los Angeles, to Marina del Rey.
We chose the nonstop route just because we felt it would be safer overall for Abby. A lot of the places that Zach pulled into were filled with political unrest and violence and just really unsafe. And you know, here you've got this young blonde thing, you know, who's, you know, we just didn't feel like we would want her to do that. We just felt like that she would need to go with someone else, you know. Then there was the boat. You know, since Lawrence and Abby found this open 40 that's designed for single handing in the Southern Ocean, very safe boat and very fast.
So she spends less time where the conditions are awful. The main danger for any sailor that's embarking on such a courageous event as Abigail is complacency. You know, under complacency you can list, you know, falling off the boat, not checking the rigging, being apathetic, not going over your chores. Yachting and boating is 80% sheer boredom out there. Then you have 15% of where it's kind of hanging on for your dear life and it's dangerous. And then you get 5% sheer terror.
Also, sleep deprivation was probably my greatest kind of day-to-day battle out there. And there are times where you just didn't get sleep for 3 days if you're in a storm and you need a hand steer. That's one of the things with single-handing. There's no one there to take your place. When there's food, diet changes, just not hanging out, not running, you know, your body goes through changes, I guess. You know, it's just, there's a lot of different stuff that happens. So she's just kind of got to know what's going to happen and get ready for it.
I'm also working on her medical kit and her ditch bag, making sure she's got everything that she needs in case of an illness or injury. And in case she needs to abandon the boat, she has a ditch bag that's full of survival equipment.
It's a very real possibility that I could die, and it was a very real possibility that my brother could have died. There's times where you're going through hell, but it always ends, and it's just something you got to keep in mind, that it's going to end and you just need to keep going.
One of the big factors in making this decision is obviously we're born again Christians, and nothing is, we don't make any decision just based on a feeling or even on sound knowledge. We also pray about it. You know, the conviction of prayer and answer to prayer has led to where we are with Abigail's campaign, and it definitely helps in the whole process and scope of making decisions.
I think that if it wasn't the Lord's will for me to do this, I wouldn't have found a boat that would have worked, and I wouldn't be here right now. And all the criticism, I guess they're kind of hoping to discourage me, but it kind of just, you know, makes me want to do it just a little bit more, just to, you know, show them that I can. I think the main drive behind this is doing my personal best. The record, it's kind of like a goal to shoot for. It's not that big of a deal, and if I get it, that's great, and if I don't, still great.
I think it's a parent's job to realize their kids' dreams and not to live them for them or anything like that, but to encourage them to have a spirit of an adventure and not to shun away through fear. I think in this day and age we live in so much fear of everything.
She's over here, babe. There she is, see?
You're looking real good. We're going to turn around soon, okay? So you go out there and sail around the world and have a great time, okay?
Hi, Abby! Love ya!
You have to evaluate, and at some stage you have to let the reins go, and this is our stage in life that we're letting the reins go with a lot of parental guidance and advice, and I think she's going to accomplish her goal and do it very well. And don't be late for dinner in about 6 months' time, okay? Love you, bye.
Once you are out there, it's like nothing else matters.
Go Abby! Yeah!
I love the feeling of being kind of detached from the rest of the world, and it's kind of, it's nice. It's being completely alone. I mean, 6 months of it may be a little bit of an overdose, but I do like it.
We have our dreams and our aspirations, but we need to remember that the Lord is in control of everything.